Boom, boom, and we are on. And boy, do I have something to show you guys. Oh, look at this shit. It's a bottle opener, but it also doubles as a deadly weapon. And we have the man himself, Chad Huxtable, to thank for that.
Howdy. Pleasure to be here.
Blacksmith, medieval fighter. What do you call each other?
Oh, we just call ourselves fighters and dickheads, basically.
It can get pretty brutal, that shit, eh?
Oh yeah, fucking oath. I've only copped 2 serious injuries, but you always get hurt when you're fighting.
Are you allowed to hit each other with a shield?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Fucking buckler punching is a favourite thing. Shield about yay big. It's metal with a rounded edge.
It is metal.
Yeah. So metal shields, like little bucklers, or bigger punch shields, which are wooden. But punch shields are fucking great, but bucklers is where it's at because they're small. You can still grapple with it, but punching someone like in the armpit where there's no armor, it's just padding, just pop right up in there.
Where does the armor stop on the neck?
So on the everything is pretty much covered.
Yeah.
We've got there's lots of rules and that sort of stuff. There's all the safety aspects that we've got covered, due to fucking insurance and all that sort of shit. But hidden plates and stuff. Your brig, the chest piece is called a brig. It usually sort of covers your shoulders by about that much. And then you've got either a gorget or, fucking hidden plates on your helmet that cover all the extra spots that aren't,
That would weigh at least 15 kilo all up, all the armour, probably more.
More. So when I first started, I bought the cheapest shit I could find because I was like, I have no fucking money. I was, fucking still a mechanic, but just on fuck all money. I bought someone made training kit out of mild steel. It was 1.6 mil mild steel. It was fucking heavy. So a full suit back then, I was wearing 52 kilos worth of armor when I was fighting.
52?
52.
And for people who can't tell, I don't know, obviously next to me, he's not going to look like the biggest person in the world because I'm a specimen, but you're a big motherfucker.
I try to be.
You would not want you throwing a fucking metal anything towards, not even a fucking punch, let alone a fucking steel shield.
I'm a pussycat. I was more of a tank than anything because back when I first started, I was fucking terrible at the sport, and the sport was still sort of getting its feet. Now, the sport itself has come from 10 guys in the field just having a bash and that sort of stuff to it is a proper team sport.
I've seen a lot of TikToks of it where there'll be they do 5-on-5s and everything. And I don't know, that sounds like some Russian shit, but
it started in Russia and Ukraine and Belarus, that sort of area.
Yeah.
But it goes all the way up to 150 versus 150.
150 and how do you determine when you're out?
When you're out, it's just 3 points of contact on the ground. So if you're getting wailed on, someone's holding you up and you're getting fucking nailed by 3 dudes with 2-meter axes, and you're like, I'm gonna die here. You just take a knee. You just drop down. So you got 1 foot, and 1 knee. Done. You're out. If someone throws you and you land on your back or your side or anything like that, you're out.
How often are these events taking place in Adelaide?
So in Adelaide, we've got a couple of the medieval fairs and that sort of stuff. We are actually not changing anything, but the state team, the Warhounds Armoured Combat, we have sort of started a Buhurt league, like a South Australian Buhurt league, where instead of doing 5v5, it's 3v3.
Yeah.
But we've got about 4 separate teams all around. Right. So that way, you come to an event and go, oh man, this looks so sick, I'd love to give it a shot. If someone turns around and says, oh, where do you train? It's not, oh, we're out in Wingfield. Oh, that's an hour away from me. Sorry, can't do it. It's cool. Are you southern suburbs, northern suburbs?
Just zoned.
Yeah, sort of thing. It's like, cool, that's going to be your team. You go train in some oval somewhere and, you'll have a good fun time. It'll be, hour or 2 hours of training of just here's the basics, here's the rules. And then, some people will go, oh yeah, yep, that's cool. Yeah, whatever. Other people go,
Fuck that.
This is my fucking life now. This is what I'm fucking doing with it. I don't care how much this fucking costs. And those
It sounds like it would be an expensive sport to enter into.
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm a mechanic. We get paid 4/5 of fuck all, and I think about 15 to 20 grand into the sport.
But if you like something that's like, that's like this podcast, I'd be over $10,000 into this podcast, and I'll get no return from. I don't imagine you'd get much of a return from your.
Well, it is a hobby, and that's the thing. Is like I'm one of the lucky people because I have my secondary business where I'm making weapons for the sport, and that's a small income and sort of can offset buying armor and stuff because armor is stupid expensive. Because it's all coming from, it mostly comes from the Ukraine and a lot of places in Europe. There's a few places, in America and that sort of stuff. There is a couple of armor smiths in Australia, but the quality goes way up when it's in Australia, but so does the price.
Yeah.
Because it's one guy, custom making these pieces versus a team of 10 guys in a factory in Ukraine pumping out large, medium, small sort of bits.
I gotta fucking make a YouTube video on this shit. I need to come to an event and participate one day and record it for a YouTube video. It sounds like it gets pretty wild. I imagine the after party's really good too.
Yeah, they can be pretty fucking good. It's once again the vibe of the sport has changed. When I first got into it, it was medieval reenactment extra. So it was like, cool, you dress up in full, like we call it soft kit, so historically accurate clothing, or historically plausible clothing, and then you get into historically accurate, historically plausible armor, have a bash, and then get on the beers afterwards. Now it's becoming more of a professionalized sport.
More athletic.
Yeah, way more athletic. Even once again, one of the top fighters in the world, Colin Campbell, he's an American who lives in Queensland, runs Brisbane Beasts. Killer dude, terrifying to fight him, absolutely terrifying. Yeah, because he's bigger than I am, and I just you look at him and you're just like, oh yeah, he looks like just a big dude, and then you see him in the list and the way he moves, it's like he's 50 kilos is how far he looks, 120 kilos sort of thing. Put him in armor, he's this much wider. He's monstrously big, but he moves like he's 50 kilos because he's done 20 years of LARPing and stuff like that where they're using foam weapons. So he's got the athleticism behind him. Then he's got all the technique of MMA, American football gridiron. So he's just got
athletic.
He's just this mountain of a dude.
There might not be a time period that interests me more to the point if I had a time machine, I'd love to go back to it than the medieval times.
Oh, absolutely.
Because those warriors and those medieval warriors, they were as hard as you can fucking get.
Well, that's the thing. That was their job.
They're not playing for records. They're playing for limbs.
Exactly. Well,
crazy.
Well, that's the thing is this sport has been a sport since that time.
Yeah.
Because it was their job to be great at sword fighting. They would wake up. They would train. They would eat. They would train. It was their job. As a knight, that was your job. So myself, I'm lazy and fucking all the rest of it, so I don't train anywhere near as much as I should have when I was doing the sport properly. Now I'm taking some time off to recover from a couple of injuries and a couple of other health stuff. But, even the top echelon of this sport are guys who it kind of is their job to be fit. Once again, another guy in Australia, Sam Ride, he's on TikTok, YouTube, fucking all of it. It's his job to rehab bloody injured army vets. I'm pretty sure that's his job anyway. But, dude's super fucking fit, lives for the sport, and, there's plenty of videos of him, because he's, 5 foot something. He's a shorter fella. There's guys who will sprint at him because, he's small, I'll just bowl him over. He'll bend at the hips and actually just flip dudes in full armor.
And it probably would release something in your brain where you're like, fucking, Like it just like triggers probably something that we have in us.
Oh, absolutely. Like there's you definitely have those guys that you come into the sport and you're like, you're giving it your all, fella, and that's great. Awesome. And then you've got other guys that you're like, we just need to teach you how to swing a sword. Other than that, you've got the dog in you.
Yeah.
You are going to be nasty. Or you tell someone, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, you're allowed to buckler punch under an armpit in 5v5s, or like, oh yeah, you can kick someone in the face, and you watch the eyes light up and you just go, oh yeah, no, you're going to be in the sport for life. Because I remember when I first got into it, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be really cool, bro. And then it just sort of clicked in my brain. I was like, hang on, am I allowed to kick people in the face? And they're like, if you can reach. And I was like, I just planted my foot on his shoulder, and they're like, yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wouldn't take much for you to kick me in the face. You just have to fucking lift up your knee.
Oh, well, back at that point, like I'd been out of doing Muay Thai for a while. Like I did Muay Thai from 13 to 19-ish. So like I'd done
those hips.
Done it for a few years. And in fact, I'm 6'1", kind of helps being able to just plant your foot on someone's shoulder. But they're like, yeah, if you can do it in armor, fuck yeah, you can kick people in the face. And yeah, I've got a picture of me and my best mate Dinky at Gumaraka Medieval where, when was it, last year? I think it was this year. Yeah, it was this year. And I'd like, because it's friendly fights between us, we'd always get into each other's ear and watch all the other fighters, all of our new fighters that were there. Basically, we'd just stand there and just, that new fella's not doing too bad. Punch. And then he'd smack me about, and I was like, all right, I'm going to kick you in the face. And he's like, what? Pushed away and just bang, and just bang, and brilliant photo of it.
Were you into like kind of old school history and stuff when you were a kid, and that's what kind of led you to it? Because you like blacksmithing and you like
it's one of those things of like, I've got ADHD, so
kind of look like a Viking.
Yeah, no, it's not by choice. I've had to get rid of it. But no, growing up, it was never something that really interested me in terms of like, like it wasn't a special interest or anything like that. It was like, oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Medieval movies, all that sort of shit. But it was nothing that sort of really, made me go for it. I had no clue what I wanted to do when I was a fucking kid. I sort of I keep saying to people that I lucked my way through life because that's how I got my first job. I walked into a Foodland and told them, I have an interview here. And they're like, cool, we'll put you upstairs. I was there for an hour. And they're like, we don't have any interviews scheduled for today. I'm like, I got a phone call an hour and 10 minutes ago telling me that I do. They're like, oh, we'll give you one anyway. That's how I got my first job. Just walked in and told them.
Yeah.
So, same with being a mechanic. It was, my mum was like, what do you want to do with your life? I'm like, fuck if I know. I'm fucking 16. And then she's like, oh, there's a certificate 1 in automotive servicing course. Like, you like cars? I'm like, I fucking suppose I do. Went and did certificate 1. Got an apprenticeship through my work experience, and just sort of kept lucking my way through like that.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was 24, 25-ish. I met a guy at an event, and like I'd heard that he did medieval fighting, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, he'd broken his foot through the fighting, and I was like, oh, fucking sorry to hear about your foot. He's like, it's all fine. Like, it was good fun sort of thing. And he goes, yeah, you should come give it a try. I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking come out at some point and give it a shot. Went out, and the moment that I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is my life now. And that was 5 years ago. So I was like, yeah, it's fucking, Buhurt is life. That's the tagline for pretty much everyone who's in Buhurt. It's like,
and Buhurt's the
sport.
The sport.
Yeah,
B-O?
B-U-H-U-R-T. But because it is a French, like it comes from the French Buhurt, there's multiple different fucking spellings, but if you look up B-U-H-U-R-T,
that's the actual name of the sport.
Yeah, Buhurt. It used to be run under, like, there's a couple of different organisations over the world. The current one for the sport that we do is Buhurt International. The one previous to that was Buhurt League, and then before that it was HMBIA, which is Historic Medieval Battle International Association or something like that. And the other one that is running is IMCF.
Yeah.
I don't dig with IMCF's rule set. There's just a few things that Australians, we don't use IMCF because HMB was just what we were using, and the rule set just sort of worked a bit better. And then now that it's Buhurt International, the rules are getting updated again and again and again to just make it more current and more professionalized sport
Yeah.
and that sort of shit. Easier to read as well, because that was one of the other things. HMBIA started from Russia, Belarus, and Poland and Ukraine. Basically, just started as reenactors all getting together and going, do you want to actually have a fucking bash? And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's kick on. So you look at some of the really, really old footage. There's guys wearing open face helmets. So there's just no protection. Like
Losing eyeballs.
Oh, you're like if like back then it was proper gentlemanly sport. You don't smack someone in the face if they don't have a full face visor.
Yeah.
Like there's guys wearing, like, it's called a nasal helmet. It basically has a big piece that comes across like down
Your nose like
down,
that and keeps your eyes exposed.
Yeah, basically the current one is big piece across your nose, but underneath all the chainmail is a big cage. Whereas an actual historical one is basically a bassinet which comes down the side of your face. So you've got open face with a single piece of metal going down your nose. And that's what these guys were wearing. It was got a kettle helm. It was basically a metal bucket hat.
If you smash someone in the nose, even if they're wearing that plate, that's still breaking their nose.
Oh, 100%. Like, the strapping system that back in the day that they were using was just underneath your chin to hold,
so it was just
hold
bang.
on. So yeah, like you get smacked in the face, it's fucking chipping teeth, it's smashing your nose and that sort of shit. Like even still, like we get dudes who get punched in the face hard enough, or like cop an axe to the face hard enough, it'll break their nose.
Are you using actual metal axes?
Yeah, full steel axes. I could use this if we cut off.
You could use that.
Yeah, if we cut off the corners and like actually rounded it and blunted it.
Oh, I see.
So
Because I've seen on your page what they actually look like. Yeah, they just look like a slightly. But that if you weren't wearing the helmet, that would kill you.
Oh, 100%. It's blunt force trauma. Like,
Yeah.
once again, we have rules against hitting the back of the head, like execution strikes. So if someone's bent over, you can't do, from 12 to 6, executioner strike on the back of the fucking head, because it will fucking kill someone.
Yeah.
Like, just plain and simple, it will. But you can chop someone in the fucking spine or the ribs and crack them.
Can you hit someone in the knee?
Sort of.
That's fucked.
Yeah, so it used to there used to be like a bit of a weird ruling of like, you can't kick the front of the knee, but you can kick the back of the knee. You can't hit the back of the knee, but you can hit the front of the knee. And then like the rules got changed in this. Currently, I believe, once again, don't quote me on it, but you're allowed to hit the front of the knee with weapons and stuff like that, but you can't do side or back of the knee, which is kind of one of those things of like, because there's weird rulings around it, I'd just not go for the knee. I'd rather go for like a hip gap, because the brig comes down to just about your hips, and then the leg armor is about that much lower, so there can be a gap there.
Have you ever been really fucked up from that?
Oh fuck yeah. Plenty of times. Once again, whenever someone asks about the sport in terms of like injuries or like hurt, it's like you will always get hurt when fighting. You won't always get injured. I've broken this pinky by copying. I was holding a two-handed axe, and the other guy was using a two-handed axe, and he just swung at me. And unfortunately, he was swinging for the fences, which means he wasn't really aiming as well as he should have. And it just happened to cop right across that pinky, snapped it, and like I felt it, and I was like, "Fuck! I think he's done something to that." And luckily for me, one of his shoulder plates, the strapping popped or something like that, so he had to get sat down. I finished out the round. And you can see there's like part of a video where like I open my hand looking at the inside of the gauntlet going, okay, no, there's no blood, it's fine. Grab the fucking axe to, like as soon as I grabbed the axe, I was like, oh, that feels a little bit better, like squeezing the shit out of it. Finished out the round. I was like, cool, I'm done. I need to duck out. Ducked out, pulled the gauntlet off, and my finger went doot, like that. Yeah. I was like, I think it's dislocated. That's fucked. Oh, that sucks. So I'm sitting there holding my hand just like, oh, fuck, that's starting to sting a bit. Shit. And then all of a sudden, huge pang of pain. I was like, oh, fuck. Looked, and it was straight again. I was like, oh, fuck. It must have, like, everything relaxed and went back in. Cool. So I was just standing there. I was like, all right, cool. Because, of course, our medical officer, Dinky, is one of our fighters. And back at this point, we only had, a handful of fighters. So when he's in the list, you can't really stop him to pull him out and be like, hey, man, I need you to tape this up or, like, do something about it. So after the fight, I've gone, Dinky, I need you to have a look at my fucking hand. So he's had a look and he's gone, it could be broken, it could be dislocated. I don't know until I have an x-ray. And I'm like, it doesn't look, like it looks straight at the time. So I was like, it's all right. So I just sort of sat down and then, massive pang of pain. I was like, fuck, looked and it's gone, back down again. I'm like, Dinky, come here. I need you to put my fucking finger back in. And he goes, dude, like without an X-ray, I don't know if I'm putting it in the correct spot. I'm like, just fucking do it.
Just rip it.
Yeah, just fucking do it. So he's grabbed my finger, pulled out, pushed back in, and I'm sitting there fucking like just grunting and groaning. Everyone's like, all of our fighters are sitting there going like, Jesus fucking Christ, man, like maybe you should go to the medical tent. I'm like, no, it's fine. So he's put it back in, and I'm sitting there going, all right, yeah, I think that's good. Grabbed a bit of ice and just sat it on there. I said, all right, we'll see how I feel tomorrow. Went and got it taped together. Woke up the next morning, all through here is all purple. And like he's looked at it and gone, yeah, you need to go to the hospital, bud. I'm like, oh, I'll go after today. So finished out the day. I didn't fight, but like, rest of the day happened. At the end of the day, I've gone, all right, cool. Start packing up the list. So to take apart the list, I'm using a fucking impact driver in my fucking hand. So just, I'm like sitting there going, fuck, that fucking stings a bit.
And they never heal up properly either.
I went to the hospital, got the x-rays, and yeah, there's a huge fucking break in it. And I'm like, my finger was broken and I had him reef on it to put it back in. I'm like, no wonder that hurt a fair bit, eh?
Yeah, no, and they never heal up the same.
It's not too bad now, but...
I ripped in I didn't rip it in myself. I got one of my mates to rip in my finger once because we were fucking around and it ended up over here.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no. And I was, funnily enough, the one who put it back in, he's legally blind. And he's like, oh, I think I know how to do it. And I was like, okay. And he's just grabbed my finger and just gone crack. And I remember it was the fucking worst and grossest feeling you'll ever feel in your life.
Oh,
it's like what I imagine putting back a shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Like those psychos who can just put back their shoulder.
Fuck that.
It's gross.
No, well, like when I went to the hospital, they're taking x-rays. All right, they're like, okay, we kind of have to try and put your finger back to where it should be. And, then we can put a cast on it. But they've injected it with like nerve blocker or something like that, and they've come over and gone, all right, cool, and started reefing on it, and I cannot feel it. So I'm sitting there watching them just pulling as hard as they can, and I'm sitting there going, this is a fucked thing to watch.
And that's not even the fucking weirdest thing you do. You've participated in body suspension as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's actually what your axe is sitting on.
Is that the hooks?
Those hooks were in my back.
Those were?
Yep, those ones specifically.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
Yep.
Those were in your back?
Yep, so those are 4 mil thick. They are 6 gauge hooks. Those are single use ones. So because of metallurgical properties and stuff like that, you can't sort of guarantee those will not open up or stretch or something like that. So like use it once. And basically, the guy who does my body suspension, he's on Instagram under Icarus Body Suspension. Amazing dude. Love him to bits. Every time he does a body suspension with those hooks, basically, once you've done, he'll put them into a bag, clean them off, and hand them to you and go, there you go, those are your souvenir.
Thank you for giving me them.
Not at all, man. That was, it was one of those things of just, as I was building the base for it, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to fucking mount?
Sick.
How am I going to mount the axe to it? And I'm like, looking around, as I said, my partner's a taxidermist, and I was like, babe, have you got any fucking antlers just floating around that you're not fucking using? She's like, yeah, I've got a couple. Put it towards the board, and I'm like, it's not sitting quite right, can't do it. And fucking, we're looking around. I've got metal sitting around. I'm like, that's going to take me ages to fucking smash that out and turn it into something relatively nice looking. And then I went, hang on a fucking second. I know what I'll do. And just went, I've got a massive string of about 40 of those sitting on, just a string. I'm like, cool, grab 2 off. Oh, they're going to fit perfectly.
And your missus is a taxidermist as well.
Yeah.
That would be the worst house for a burglar to break into.
Oh, 100%.
They would be fucking terrified.
Well, that's the funny thing is, being a Buhurt fighter, you always hear of like stories of like, some of your mates and all that sort of stuff, like having people break in and shit. There's one story of a guy over in New South Wales got broken into. And of course, he's a military dude. He's short, but he's fucking ripped. And of course, sleeps naked. So he's had someone break into his house. He's just grabbed a long sword and fucking started chasing him. So he's chasing him down the street with a long sword, and he's fucking cocky and just, fucking come back here, you fucks.
How many times have you hung?
How many times have I suspended?
Sorry, yeah.
Fuck. I don't know how many times I've done it, but as you can see, I'm covered in these little tattoos.
Is that there where all the hooks go?
Those are entry and exit wounds. There's only a couple. So I've got couple on my fingers.
You do them from your fingers?
No. So that one. So I made myself a rule of anything over a certain size of hook or skewer, I'll get a tattoo for. So I've got got 4 tattoos on my stomach from skewers. And
what do you mean by skewers?
Barbecue skewers.
Barbecue skewers.
Yeah. So for because you got to learn how to do the piercings and that sort of stuff, and goes into a whole different area as well. Me and my mate who do the body suspension went to a medical course that a friend of ours was running to basically learn how to do certain piercings and that safely. And it's once again it's one of those things of here's how to do it the right way, and get everything autoclaved and all that sort of stuff so it's properly sterile. Here's how to do it as safe as possible when you're out in the field, doing body suspension and stuff like that, because you're out in the dirt and dust and that sort of shit. So it was that style of, here's the right way. Here's how to do it safe enough. Here's how not to do it. So at that event, he's done these little TED talk, and then he's gone, cool, let's do some practical sort of stuff. And I had my mate put 8 skewers through my back and hook them together like that, rope it up. So I was just, semi-suspended off of it just to put a bit of pressure onto it. And then afterwards he was like, all right, cool. What do you want to do now? I'm like, I kind of really want to see if I can push a barbecue skewer through my stomach. So just off my guts here. So just here and that one there. So I've just grabbed it like that and just started pushing as hard as I could. Because it's just it's exactly the same as this. It's just a tapered barbecue skewer, and just sitting there putting as much pressure on it. Couldn't get it through properly. Still had to sort of pierce it a little bit with a needle, but one of them managed to actually get most of the way through just by pushing it, and it was fun.
Oh my god, that's the widest people shit you hear all day, eh?
Oh, 100%. That's the thing is, I'm not into pain like that, but I search it out as much as possible.
Is it because it's funny? So I went to Greece one year and I did the Greek islands, and I went to this island called Eos, and it's just a party island. Yeah. And there was this tattoo parlour there, and I made friends with all the tattooists, and we were drinking heaps one night, and one of them was a fucking strange dude. Really nice dude, but you could tell he was a bit fucking, he was very odd. Yeah. And I was talking to him, I was like, oh, what are you into and shit, man? He's like, oh, I'm he had missing a finger, he cut his finger off as a body mod.
I've got a mate who's done both his pinkies.
And fucking, I was like, what do you do? He's like, I love body suspension.
Oh, yeah.
And there used to be this dude, I don't know if he's still famous now. I don't know, I think he changed his name. But he used to be called Little Swastika. He has full face tattoos, dreadlocks, missing. He was like one of the first people to cut off a heap of his fingers. Yeah. Split tongue, but he used to suspend himself while he was parachuting and skydive and shit.
Seen a whole bunch of that shit.
And he was with all of them the week prior, and he was showing me all these videos, and they were having ayahuasca fucking ceremonies in the middle of the jungle and suspending and shit. And I was like, this is fucking so gnarly.
Oh yeah, it's once again, it's one of those things of it's not for everyone. And when I first, the way that I actually got into it was my mate who does it. I was a part of a haunted house for Halloween for a couple of years, and he came out and tried out, and that's how I met him. And back when I was in a band, actually this band, he turned around.
What's the name of the band?
Abolished. Oh. So I'm no longer part of it. Unfortunately, I was going through a whole bunch of shit and just a really bad bandmate, and they finally went, look man, we're gonna have to look for a new guitarist. And I was like, oh, this is bullshit. After a day or two of feeling down on myself, I went,
fair.
Yeah, fair call. And then I've gone and seen them since. They are a fucking amazing band. They're so tight, just brilliant band, brilliant bunch of dudes.
Like dark metal or
no, so weird. It's very Tool and System of a Down inspired, a sort of a progressive nu metal sort of stuff. I don't want to sort of label them or anything because
there's 6 million different types of metal for anyone who doesn't know out there, and they get really offended when you don't know the one.
Once again, when we were first coming up with the name Abolished, we were sitting there going, man, it would be so much easier if we were black metal or death metal or something like that, because you can just go Cannibal Corpse. All right, that one's taken, but fucking any fucking evil sounding shit. Yep, done. But when you have no idea what the fucking genre you're playing, you kind of what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck do we call ourselves? We were unnamed for fucking months, and then finally just I can't remember who came up with it. It was like, how about abolished? And it's like, maybe, and then it just grew on us, and we're like, yeah, all right, that fucking works. And then it's just fucking stuck around.
Yeah.
But I was doing a show at back when it was at World's End instead of Royal Oak
on Hindley.
Yeah, on Hindley. So we're at World's End. So he's come out for that because he knew someone in each band on the bill, and I'd finished my set, come off, and then I was like, oh, by the way, like, I saw some of your photos on Instagram, man. Like, that body suspension shit looks cool as fuck. And he goes, well, there's a fresh set of hooks there if you ever want to go up. And we sort of both had a bit of a laugh. And then like 2 days later, he sent me a message going, hey man, I was being serious. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Hook us up. Let's go. So I was like, worst case scenario, I fucking hate it. And I never do it again. And I've got cool photos and videos and be like, yeah, check out this cool thing that I've done. First time I did it, I was like, this fucking sucks. This just hurts. There's no good about it. And then, like,
do you get a high from it?
Sort of, yeah. So the first one, I went up and like I just couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't relax. And I've come back down, and he could see in my face that I was about to be like, yeah, nah, I'm fucking done. Like, get him out. And he's just gone, do you want to pull yourself up? And I went, you fucking prick, of course I fucking do. Like, why the fuck wouldn't I? I'm here. So pulled myself up, and like, actually having that control over it gave it a hugely different feeling. And like having something to focus on as I'm pulling, I'm just sitting there fucking growling and just, carrying on sort of thing. I've gotten up again. I'm going, all right, cool. And, come back down. I was like, all right, that was interesting. Got cool photos, got cool videos. I'm done. And it wasn't about, hour, 2 hours later, I just had this massive rush of emotions. Like I was up, down, fucking feeling everything. And then a clarity to each emotion came through that I was like, I'm feeling sad because my marriage was ending and that it was a horrible time in my life. I'm feeling happy because there's all these new possibilities that are arising because I no longer am tied to someone, and all the rest of it. So I had these all these sorts of shit come through. I'm like, all right, that's fucking I wonder why that's happening. And started talking to my mate. He goes, yeah, it can bring on some stuff like that afterwards, like usually a rush of endorphins and adrenaline from actually going through something like that. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I think it was like a month later, he's like, I'm doing another suspension day. Do you want to go? Like, do you want to get in on it? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go again. He goes, okay, cool. What position do you want to go up in? Because most people for their first time, it's called a suicide, and it's just 4 hooks in the back or 2 hooks in the back because it looks like you're hanging. So the second suspension, I was like, I want to do the Antichrist. And he goes, you don't fucking do things by halves, do you? And I'm like, nope, let's go. So it was on the outside and inside of both calves. And
is because of the skin's thinner, does it hurt more? Is that why it's less?
No, so it depends on where you're getting pierced. Because like, once again, like you've been smacked in the arm by your mates and shit like that, and you're like, oh yeah, fucking, it's that dull ache. Whereas someone flicks you in the fucking ear, you're like, oh fuck, that stings. It just comes down to where the piercing is, and also comes down to like, fucking, did you eat a good breakfast? Are you in a good place mentally? What's your pain threshold like in general? That sort of shit. Like I've had suspensions where I've made no noise with the piercings, and I'm up in 2 minutes. Like from time of getting the piercings done to actually being in the air is about maybe 10 minutes flat. Whereas other times, I've been pierced up, I've got the ropes on, like everything's ready to go, and he'll put a bit of tension on, and I just go, no, hang on, like fucking pause. Like, and it's just, I'm having a fucking bad mental day, and all of a sudden your body just can't handle shit anymore. But then you try to sort of rock yourself into it, and it separates the skin from the fascia. So yeah, it sounds quite horrible, but once it sort of separates enough and your body kind of gets used to it and goes, okay, cool, we're going to dump a fuck ton of adrenaline and endorphins and get you through this, that's when you go, oh, everything's comfortable now. Like there was one of the suspensions that I had was one of my favorites. So it was just 2 hooks in the back, and I was swinging around.
The more hooks, the less it hurts as well? Or?
Yeah, because it spreads out the
pain.
It spreads it out over, like, just the load sort of thing. And it was just, it was 2 or 4 hooks in the back. I can't really remember. But, so I've gone up and I've started getting comfortable. And that's all I remember for the next half an hour.
Yeah, right.
Because
you're up there for half an hour.
Yeah, I was up there for half an hour swinging around and doing all sorts of just random shit. Because I got video footage of it. I do not fucking remember it at all because it was just the perfect day. Like, the weather was really nice. I was in a good place I was in a good place mentally. Like, that was a good day for me. I'd eaten a good breakfast. I'd had plenty of water, had Powerade, so my sugars were up. It wasn't like my body was going through turmoil as I'm going into it. So as I've gone up, I got comfortable really, really quickly. Like, my body just went, yep, you've settled in, everything's good. And the way that I, use body suspension is as a form of, some form of therapy of clearing my mind of thoughts and shit. Because being ADHD, having depression, having anxiety, my mind never shuts off. It just keeps running. So having an outlet that actually just completely quiets the brain, because it either gives me something to focus on, or when I get comfortable, something just happens and my brain just sort of melts away and I don't think. And yeah, for half an hour I was up swinging around and I do not remember any part of it until about 20 minutes after I've come off the hooks, because I'm like, fuck knows how long I was up there for, because I know how long I was up there.
Do you bleed a lot from it?
Depends on, once again, for my second suspension, the Antichrist, where I was upside down and it's a pretty hectic fucking suspension. He gives you instructions before the day. He's like, cool, don't drink heavily the night before, get a good night's sleep.
Same as a tattoo, pretty much.
Basically, yeah. Don't have coffee, don't do anything that's going to thin out your blood, like aspirin, caffeine, alcohol, all that sort of shit. Don't take drugs, have a good breakfast, have a good sleep, keep your sugars up, that sort of shit, because you're about to get fucking an open wound. That was the only thing on that list that I didn't do, was aspirin the night before. Oh, and drugs. But I drank heavily the night before, got 2 hours of sleep, had 2 iced coffees for breakfast, because at that time I was, loved Farmers Union iced coffee. Fucking that was breakfast every single day. But, had 2 iced coffees, got there, and he's like, all right, cool, pierce, all that sort of stuff. And then afterwards, after I've come off the hooks, I've gone not woozy or anything like that, but I was like, that feels fucked. And he's like, you thinned out your blood a fair bit, didn't you? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, how much sleep you get last night? I was like, about 2 hours. He goes, what were you doing? I was like, I was out at a party drinking. And he's like, you fucker, don't do it again. I was like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then, he's nice enough about it, but he was just like, you fucking dickhead.
Do you have to sign waivers and shit?
Yeah, basically. It's the same as when you get into piercing at a fucking, piercing shop and that sort of shit. It's an indemnity waiver, but it is also one of those things of you are doing something that is inherently dangerous. Pretty much like tattoos and piercing places, the indemnity form isn't worth the paper that it's written on. It's, as far as I'm aware, you can't really sign away certain rights that you have as a human being, and fucking the right to sue them if it goes fucking sideways, is one of those ones. But I'm not a fucking lawyer.
Are they busy? Are these events pretty packed out, or is it just people that want to participate kind of go?
No, so with my guy, he's not private days, but you got to give you got to pay a deposit, you got to fucking message him well in advance and that sort of shit. So it's usually about 3 to 4 people that actually get suspended, and you can bring along some friends, bring along a small crowd to spectate, but the less people the better. Because it depends on what you're suspending for. I know that there's been a couple of times where I've gone out for a suspension and I'm going through some shit mentally, and I'm like, cool, I need to fucking just shut off. And there might be some people there that I don't know because they're new to the scene sort of thing. They're like, oh yeah, I'd love to give it a try. So they're loud, boisterous, and
makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, they've just got a nervous energy that it's like, I really wish that you weren't here so I could just get into my fucking zone. Because there's been, some suspensions are purely for fun, and it's just cool, I just want to go swing around, hang out with my mate, and fucking, just have a good time. Other suspensions, it's cool, I've been having a fucking terrible couple of months or a terrible couple of weeks, I'm just going through some shit, I just need to shut off. And then other times we've done stage shows and shit like that around fringe, sort of that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's certain suspensions where there's been just a few newbies or people who just have that personality that you just fuck, I really wish you'd come later in the day, or I had come later in the day so that you'd already be done.
How much does it set someone back?
Not that much. I think it's about $150.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It's, you know, and
Cheaper than a fucking piercing.
yeah, certain piercings, that's for sure. But yeah, no, it's like, because he's a private business basically. It's not something that's, you know, well advertised. He does it in his spare time.
Yeah.
So he is very much like, cool. It covers his costs of, you know, the materials, the like his machines to actually like clean everything properly and that sort of stuff. But yeah, like it's not that expensive, but you know, some people look at the price tag and go, oh, fuck that. Like, no, I'm not paying that much to have somebody fucking skewer me for, you know, to put me through pain. It's like, well...
Seems cheap to me.
Oh, it is. Like, I mean, once again, you know, price for everything is relative. It's, you know, what are you willing to pay for shit? Like, you know, like an axe. If someone just goes, you know, how much did you pay for this? And you tell them the price and they go, oh, I wouldn't have fucking paid that. I can go down to Bunnings and get myself an axe for $30. It's like...
It's not handcrafted.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a fucking handcrafted bottle opener. It's,
yeah.
You know, it's something that's just off the fucking shelf that any cunt can fucking have. So it's worth the money to you. Whereas, you know, some people will go, how much did you pay for that tattoo? It's like, oh, I paid $2,000 for having, you know, one sleeve done. And people go, oh, I'd never fucking pay that to, you know, deface my body. It's like, well, you and I have different priorities. You know, clearly that I enjoy the artwork that I've now got on my body.
So you tattooed over the scars. Is there actual still scars there?
Yeah, there's still scars all the way through. Oh, shit. There's scars all the way through it, so like you can see it right there. Yeah. But yeah, no, I've got some really weird places. I've actually got fucking 4 on my ass cheeks.
You did your ass?
Yeah.
That would be the worst, eh?
No, fuck no.
When I got my ass tattooed, that was the fucking surprisingly.
Oh,
the ass was the worst place I've been tattooed.
Look, the tattoos on the ass hurt more than the fucking suspension did. Like,
Canes, eh?
Oh yeah, fucking. It's like, you ever fucking just drop down onto like you sit down, you've had a long day, you fucking sit down hard, but you miss the cushion on the couch, you just slam into the wood and you're like, oh, and you can feel it in your throat. You're like, oh.
You didn't suspend from your ass, you just skew it. You did.
No, suspended from ass, upside down.
Upside down.
Yeah, it's called the astronaut.
That's so fucking good.
Oh, it was a fucking fun one because I'd had a fucking shithole of a year, fucking terrible year, and I'd called up my mate Alan. I'm like, look, man, it's the end of the year. I want to do a fun one. Like, fucking, let's go for a suspension day. Went up to fucking somewhere in one of the hoity-toity fucking areas, out fucking east sort of thing, and he was like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I just want a fun one. And he's like, how about the astronaut? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Let's just do something fucking stupid. Because I'm pretty sure it was on New Year's Day. And yeah, it was great. Fucking just 2 hooks in the ass, upside down, and fucking, yeah. Took a little bit to get up, but fuck, it was fun. Just swinging like across this creek, upside down.
Because you're like bigger, is it harder for you to do it than other people? I was going to say, because obviously the lighter you are, the kind of less strain on the hooks.
100%. Like, when I first started doing it, I was about 80 something kilos, so I was, you know, a fair bit lighter, and it was quite easy. And some of the more recent suspensions, of course, I'm up near, you know, when I was doing it, it was like 105, 110 ish. I've dropped weight now, but you know, I was fucking a little bit heavier. So when you are heavier, it's more strain on the, you know, where you're getting suspended from, because there's just more weight pulling on it. So yeah, there's people who are, you know, you see videos of like women who are doing it, and they've got, you know, 10 hooks in, and they look just so comfortable. They look like it's not even bothering them at all, which, you know, probably fucking isn't. But it's like, yeah, she's in between 50 to 70 kilos. I'm 30 to 40 kilos heavier than her. If I was to do that suspension, I'd be in fucking agony because it's just pulling so much heavy, like it's pulling so much more weight. The most hooks I've ever done was 10 hooks. So shins, thighs, stomach, chest, and cheeks. That one was hard, but that was due to the day. Once again, like, it all comes down to the day and what happens. If I'd gone up first, like if I was the first one to go up, would have probably been way easier, because I got there and, you know, you sort of like, me personally, I like to sort of get into like a bit of a headspace with it and just meditate, like not meditate, but that style of thing.
Get in the zone.
Yeah, get in the zone. And so I sort of got myself into the zone, got myself ready, and my mate's like, oh, hey, you know, this bird has come down from fucking Nuri up to suspend. Can she go first? I'm like, yeah, right, yep, that's fine. Like, that's fair. Like, you're running the day sort of thing. And he knows that he can sort of shift me and put me into, wherever he fucking needs to. He always runs weird ideas past me. He's like, hey, I've got this weird configuration. What do you reckon? I'm like, yeah, well, if you want to fucking do it, I'm keen. But yeah, so he's like, oh, move you back a bit. So I sort of got myself out of that headspace to then help him with, the piercing the ring and all that sort of shit. So I've, helped her go up. And then as she's coming down, I'm like, all right, cool. Time for me to sort of start getting into the zone again. Got myself into the zone. And then he's gone, hey, the next two people who are doing a tandem suspension, they have somewhere to be. Can we put them before you? I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, fair enough. And like, it was just one of those days where like, it was organized in a certain way, and then due to other people saying, oh, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? It just got all shuffled around. And it's no one's
fucked with your routine.
It's no one's fault, but it's one of those things of like, I had sort of gotten myself in and out of that zone, a couple of times. So by the time that it was, I was ready to go up, I haven't eaten for most of the day. I'd had, bits of Powerade here and there to keep my blood sugars up and that sort of stuff. And I was going through some, mental shit. So he's pierced me up, which copping 10 hooks is interesting.
Is that worse than the hang?
It can be, and it once again depends on where you're getting pierced. Shins, easy as piss.
No, because the skin's so thin.
Thin skin, not much nerve endings, and doing Muay Thai for so long, you sort of deaden your nerves in your shins. The thighs fucking sucked. Like,
really?
Oh, they fucking suck. The stomach was fucking even worse than the thighs. And there's a photo that he's actually got of just as he's pierced through, you can actually see a bit of fat sitting on the end of the fucking shaft.
That's fucked.
Oh, that's
fucked.
Yeah, it's gross, but it's also one of those fucking just cool little things like, oh, that's fucking weird. But yeah, then, chest, nice and easy. Cheeks, fucking could have fallen asleep. It was easy as. Got roped up, and I'm laying there, and I'm cold because, at this point, we're at Brighton at a fucking abandoned cement factory, and there's no fucking wall on the side of it facing the ocean. So we've got this fucking ocean fucking breeze coming through, and I'm in a pair of shorts. That's it. So it's fucking cold. And, my body's starting to just tense up and all that sort of shit. So
skin's starting to tighten.
Yeah, exactly. So he's starting to put a bit of tension on it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, no. And I've gone, hang on a second. I've grabbed onto the bar to hold myself just to take a bit more of the weight. And that helped me get off the table. So he's managed to get me off. And then, I've taken one hand away, put it across my chest, still holding a bit of weight, and then changed hands just to really try and stretch it out and get comfortable. And at one point, like, just the song, and once again, song choice is fucking so important, because if you know a song that has a real good meaning to you and you're going through some shit, put that on with it. Find a song that you have that has, the right fucking dynamics to it that really means something to you, and listen to that while you're suspending. The song that I had on didn't mean a lot to me because it was very, very new to me, but it has a lot of meaning to it. And I was listening to it, and it just sort of reaches this, peak in the song. And as it's hit that peak, I've just let go and just let out this massive guttural fucking roar. Didn't worry, once again, I'm very self-conscious about a lot of shit. Didn't worry about what the scream sounded like for the first time ever. And I have this weird sort of break and crack into the fucking, into the scream, but it just let out all of this emotion all at once. And it was fucking fantastic. And, I still plan on doing it again to try and get the body suspension, get the suspension done without, holding onto the bar and that sort of shit. But yeah, it can be fucking intense. And then there's times where we just do it and it's just fucking fun.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more extreme than that, really. Then there's those motherfuckers that start cutting off limbs and fucking appendages and shit. That's a bit extreme. Or body mods are probably crazier because they're for life, I guess. But
I mean, once again, one person's crazy is another person's fucking normal.
When you start cutting off your nose and shit, that's where I fucking draw the line.
I mean, look, I'm not going to go that far, but I do have a couple of body mods planned that I'm,
really,
yeah, eventually when I get the money or win the lotto, so I don't have to work, because that's another thing that always holds me back is, I've got to work for the next fucking 40, 50 years sort of thing.
You
So
probably fucking won't be able to go to work with like a horn.
well, that's the fucking thing is my mate who does the body suspension, he's got his gums tattooed, he's got his tongue split, eyeballs tattooed, horns implanted, piercing, like dermal piercings that you can attach horns to and shit like that. So he's a very heavily modified guy, but yeah, he's got work because of all of his qualifications. He's gone, cool, I know what area I can go into where my appearance doesn't fucking matter.
Figured it out first.
Well, probably
on the fly.
Yeah, sort of on the fly. He's like, well, I need to learn how to do rigging for body suspension and for this other job. Cool, I'll go into that fucking aspect, and then he's got multiple different qualifications because of external hobbies and shit like that allow him to have a very, I wouldn't say lucrative job, but he's got enough. He's got a job that's keeping the bills paid and that sort of shit, keeps him happy.
Yeah, right. I just fucking that's just the whole body. So that would just to me that would just fucking cane. I got my whole body tattooed besides my arms.
All right.
So I got a whole body suit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, I got a whole fucking. You wouldn't be able to tell, but.
All right.
Yeah, I got my whole body suit besides my arms. I got my legs, my toes, my toe webbings, everything.
Oof, fuck.
Ass crack, in between, everything. But I don't know, like you said, I like the fact I used to love with tattoos just going there and just zoning out for like 8 hours at a time. It was nice.
Yeah, because there's something that you can focus on. It's just...
And I imagine the pain, obviously the pain would, well, depending on your pain tolerance, like body suspension, because I know people who see piercings, I can't get my ear pierced.
Yeah.
Because I got my nose pierced once.
Yeah.
Worst pain in my fucking life.
All right.
But I sat both my armpits same day, no issue.
All right, yeah.
Like tattooing. But as soon as I get a needle to my ear, I just can't hack it.
Yeah, right.
So I imagine the pain, but I imagine the stages of pain are very similar.
Yeah.
Like you get that cold kind of sweat on.
Yeah.
And then your body goes into shock. Then you're cruising for like, say, like half of or 3/4 of the tattoo, and then the last 5 minutes is the fucking worst pain of your life.
Yeah.
I imagine body suspension is probably very similar process.
Yeah, it does have stages. Like when you first get to the wherever you're suspending, like I've done it a fair few times, so like I'm kind of used to a couple of the feelings now where I can just go, yep, cool, I know that I'm feeling that. So yeah, in a couple of minutes that will pass and that will move on to something else. But yeah, when you first get to the place, you're fucking nervous, so you're a little bit sort of on edge, you're twitching a bit. And then when he first sort of like, all right, cool, like if you're just going up by your back, he gets basically the same shit as tattooists use for stencils, the purple shit. Mm-hmm. He'll use that and
to mark out
where he's piercing. So basically, with any body suspension that is has to have a specific orientation, he'll actually put a line and north, so up. So that way, like, cool, center.
You can tell where it's going.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can be laying on, like, you could be covered with a fucking towel sort of thing, so he can't see whether your head or your feet are. But if he can see that line with the north, he goes, cool, I know exactly where the piercings have to sit, in what way, and like, where I have to pierce from. So like, yeah, he'll mark out the center of your back. I fucking hate that feeling. I hate the first fucking line that he does. It just fucking...
This is happening.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. I'm like, all he's doing is marking it out with this, like, with a fucking toothpick, basically dipped in this fucking ink, and he just scratches down the center of my back, and I'm like, fuck, that fucking hurts. Fuck you. And then, the first piercing, like, they all feel like being cut and punched at the same time because of how big they are. Because they are this fucking big.
See, when you look at them, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, and
so that would how big? So obviously one hook is 2 holes.
Yeah.
So because you'd have to hook one bit, go into the skin a bit, and then come out through another point.
So instead of it being just this, because you could theoretically just grab one of those and reef it through, and it would work.
Got more chances of a tear.
Oh, it would fucking tear. It would fucking cause so much damage that isn't necessary. So basically, you use a sharp. It's a needle. It's a hypodermic needle, but we call them a sharp because of how fucking big they are. They're about yay big, and they just slot onto the end, so that way you can hold onto the hook and push it through with the sharp. So it's a lot more of a surgical cut than fucking just forcing something through your skin. But yeah, so what he'll do is he'll actually, pull on your skin, get it a little bit loose, that sort of stuff, and then he'll hold it up like that. So you can actually feel, when you grab, a bit of meat under the skin, you can feel it, and then you can feel it slip and go, oh, that's just skin. There's no muscle there.
There's no muscle. Not many nerves, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, so he'll grab it, and if he's got an offsider, he can actually get someone to hold it both sides of where he's going to pierce. So instead of being, like this and trying to pierce right on the edge, he's got, a fucking decent, someone's got a decent grip on it, and he can just go, cool, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and go. And as you're going, you breathe out, and yeah, just slips straight through, unless you've got scar tissue there. I've got a fuck ton of scar tissue on my back.
You wouldn't be able to pierce the same spot twice, eh?
You can. It's just going to build up more and more scar tissue. I can't actually do any more chest suspensions. I've only done 2, but I do have a scarification on the left side of my chest.
You do?
Yeah, so I've got a full skin peel on the left side of my chest. And because I've had my
What do you mean by skin peel?
So they carve in the design with a scalpel, carve it in twice, and then on the third pass, they carve in at an angle and peel the skin out.
Can you show me?
Yeah, of course. So...
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
That you won't be able to see that on camera that great because my cameras aren't good. But is that like a Norse?
Is
that like a Norse thing?
No, so it's a demonic symbol. It's the sigil of Astaroth, which, once again, there's a lot of stuff in my life that I'm like, people look at and go, oh, so you're into fucking Satanism and this, that, and the other. It's like, I follow the Satanic Temple, which is not really Satanism as such. It's more so like 7 tenets of how to live your life. And it's like, trust in the most current science, do unto others how you, respect other people, and, protect the innocent. Basically, you can look it up online. It's a really good way to live your life.
It's not like the Anton LaVey kind of...
Yeah, that's, once again, LaVey Satanism, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Those are some fucking great rabbit holes to go down, though. If you have not sussed out, Anton LaVey, and there was one other one, what was his name? Older bloke. Oh, I think he was older than Anton LaVey. Real evil motherfucker.
Fucking... Probably Crowley.
Crowley.
Alistair Crowley.
Crowley. If you haven't gone down those rabbit holes before, it's a great watch.
Oh, great read and great watch, all that sort of shit. But yeah, it's one of those things of the way that the Satanic Temple has come about is because there's, it came about in America from a couple of guys basically going, well, fuck what's happening with Christianity and all of the religious stuff that's happening in America, because there are some fucking the Westboro Baptist Church, it's fucking insane. And they went, cool, well, we're going to call ourselves Satanists, but we don't believe in the literal devil. Theistic Satanism, out of the two people, if you're a Christian or a Satanist, the Christian actually believes in the fucking devil. I fucking don't. But, with the Satanic Temple, there's a whole, once again, brilliant watch. I think there's a Netflix documentary or YouTube documentary on it. Brilliant fucking watch. And you read up on, what they actually believe. And it's like, oh, that's just a good way to live your life. That's not actually Satanism. It's not actually Satanism. They're like, yeah, that's why we're the Satanic Temple, not Satanists.
Isn't one of the not rules or tenets, to not turn the other leaf?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Once again, I'm not...
I think I've seen a brief thing on it, and I believe one of them was no, it's an eye for an eye.
That might be closer to LaVey Satanism.
Maybe, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, the Satanic Temple is, once again, it's if you read, go and actually, fucking read up on the 7, I think it's 7 tenets of the Satanic Temple. It really is just fucking how to live your life and respect others. And hey, if science says that the world is fucking round and and Earth revolves around the fucking sun, unless you are a scientist who fucking can prove better, that's what you should believe in, because science changes its belief when new evidence comes in. It doesn't go, well, this is my conclusion, this evidence says otherwise, well, I'm not going to I don't want to know about that evidence because this is what I believe in. It's like, no, hang on, what does that evidence say?
We've got to change all of the fucking thing. We've got to change everything we think now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, scientists love to be proved wrong because it's like, cool, now I've got something that I can fucking look into and research, and like, it's changed my worldview instantly. When they first fucking figured out how to fly, all of a sudden it's like there is a new fucking field of science to look into now that, flight is fucking available to us. Cool. I think it was fucking 60, it wasn't even 60 years between humans learning how to fly, like the Wright brothers flying, and us landing on the fucking moon. It's like, it was fucking like less than 100 years, which is insane. Like 100.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was fucking, was it 1919 or something? It was around, early 1900s that the Wright brothers, built the first plane and learned how to fly. And then in 1969, we landed on the fucking moon. I say
that
we,
is
the Americans.
Insane.
Yeah, it's such a humans are fucking incredible.
And that's just a hop and a leap ago, really.
Oh, 100%.
At the end, like 1919 or whenever the fuck they figured out how to fly.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking hop and a skip away from where we are now.
Australia had only been a country for a couple of years, like roughly. So it's just like, humans are fucking insane. Like when some
great-grandparents, there's not even some people's grandparents were around probably then.
Exactly. It's like, that's the fucking thing, is like, colored TV came about, fucking what, early
I'd say late 60s to early 70s.
I'm pretty sure it was, black and white was the moon landing. So it's,
now we're on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. There's, the fucking internet it still baffles me how the fucking internet works. Like, it's what I love about humans, is that everyone has grey spots with their intellect, or like, with what they know. It's like, some people are like, yeah, cool, I can do algebra in my head like that, no worries. How to drive a car? Fuck knows. Wouldn't have a fucking clue. Like, everyone's just got those little grey spots. But yeah, no, fucking humans are fucking insane.
Did that hurt?
With the scarification?
Yeah. Afterwards?
Fuck yes.
Do you get put on anaesthetic for that?
So they use, I believe it's called Vasocaine, which is epinephrine and an anaesthetic. The epinephrine slows the bleeding and the anaesthetic stops it from hurting. But the first cuts are just pure, you feel everything. So the first cuts it's a real pinchy sort of pain, like, you're getting cut. And then sprays it with this Vasocaine, and like when I had it first done, like he's sitting there carving it in, and I'm sitting there like, fucking focusing on the roof and just, you're breathing through the pain. Then he sprayed it with his Vasocaine shit, and I just lost it. I started laughing like crazy. Of course, my best friend at the time, who was there with me, she's sitting there going, this is bullshit. I wanted to see you actually fucking feel some pain for once. Now you're laughing at it. What the fuck? But yeah, sprayed it with Vasocaine, went over it a second time. The second time, you feel a lot less, and I was like, okay, cool, that's interesting. Sprays it again after the second
nothing.
one, and then you don't feel it whatsoever. Like, I was like, this is insane. Like, I know that you were cutting into my skin and peeling it out. That's fucking cool. And then afterwards, like after he'd done the first skin peel, like all the center section, there's dots around each point of the star. He had to do that right at the end, and the Vasocaine only works on an open wound. So
that would suck.
So my chest had just been carved into for 2 hours, an hour or 2 hours or something like that. So he carved into it for that long, and then so it's just raw, irritated fucking section. And he's used a biopsy punch, which is basically a cookie cutter. And he's like, all right, this one's gonna fucking suck. And I'm like, all right, cool, lay it on me. So he's basically pushed it in and he basically has to twist it to cut it in. My vision went to about, size of a 5-cent piece on the roof, like just black, right down in that dot, and like hyper focused and just breathing through it, growling through it. It's fucking insane. Like that's one of the feelings that like I've only had one time in my fucking life. I will do it again because fuck, it was insane. But after he's done the biopsy punch, he's like, all right, cool, I'll spray it again with Vasocaine. As soon as he hit it with the Vasocaine and started rubbing it in, lost my shit again. Started laughing like crazy again. And then afterwards, everything's numb. And he's like, all right, cool, give me your phone. I'm going to record you a voice clip to tell you how to take care of this. And I was like, oh, okay, like, why don't you just tell me? Because you're not going to fucking remember anything.
And that'd be a gnarly wound. You would have to do that to the T.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. He's like, cool. After 4 days, then you can take the second skin. Like, you can take the covering off, wash it in the shower. You can do this, and this. After another couple of days, once it's healed to this certain point, then you're going to have to irritate it. Because that's how you make it scar.
Oh, or else it'll just heal.
Yeah, like it can just heal up really, really good.
Oh, so you almost got to make it like a little bit manky.
Sort of, yeah. It still has to be clean, but he's like, cool.
Well, it would have to scab, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so the second skin keeps it from scabbing, and so like, you know, the first section of healing is good. Then after that, once you've pulled it off and cleaned it up and that sort of stuff, once again, this is a couple of years ago, so I'm trying to remember it. But yeah, so clean it off and that sort of shit, antibacterial soap, let it, you know, sort of dry in the air and that sort of shit. And then when you're actually going to irritate it, throughout the day, you can just sit there and slap the fucking open wound like on your chest, and which kind of fucking sucked. But like, you know, gone through that much pain, you're like, yeah, fucking whatever. So sitting there slapping it.
To look good.
He's like, when you go to have your shower, make up a solution of citric acid and water. Tablespoon, it was a teaspoon of citric acid and about 250 mils of water. Pour that onto it, rub it in. If it doesn't feel like it's irritating enough, up the ante. So I made up the 250 mils of, you know, water with a teaspoon of citric acid, poured it on. I'm like, that's fucking doing nothing. Right, he said up the ante. Teaspoon of fucking citric acid powder in the hand, couple of drops of water to make it into a paste. Grind, and I fucking regretted it instantly. Fucking dropped me onto the fucking bathroom floor. Ground it in. It's like, fucking dropped straight down to the ground. I was like, oh, fucking shit. Hopped in the shower, washed it out. I was like, okay, cool. That's far too much. So made up, like, finally figured out the right levels to it to irritate it. And, you know, unfortunately there was parts of it that I healed too quickly for, because I don't know, something in, you know, me, he was a little bit quicker than most people. So when he first saw, like, after 4 days, he's like, yeah, give us a progress shot. And he was like, you're healing too quickly, you need to irritate it now. I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, wash it off in the shower, and yeah, fucking citric acid fucking sucked. Just fucking sucked. But the best part was after getting it done, when he's doing the voice clip and shit, afterwards, I was like, cool, let's go and get some food, because I'm fucking hungry. So I went to Zambrero's, and I'm standing there looking at the board, and I just went, I don't fucking know what I eat. Like, I had zero thoughts in my brain, and, like, you know, I said to my friend, I was like, Kelly, what the fuck do I eat? And she's like, oh, don't worry, I've got this. So she's ordered my food for me, and then I've pulled out my wallet, and I think this was like just as PayPass had started, like the PayWave had just started coming in, so I was still using the fucking chips. So I've put my fucking thing in and went, Kelly, what's my PIN number? And she's like, for fuck's sake, you're useless. Just put the PIN in, that sort of shit. Had a food, and I was like, oh, let's go and grab a beer. It's, you know, hot day, right down on Henley Beach. Fuck yeah, let's go have a beer. So we're sitting down having a beer, which with an open wound, probably not the smartest idea, but anyway. So we're having the beer, and all the anesthetic is slowly wearing off. So it's starting to sting. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, that's starting to smart a bit. So finished the beer, and I was like, all right, Kelly, I'm gonna fucking head home. Hopped into the fucking car, and by that point, probably about 50% to 70% of the anesthetic had worn off. And I was just fucking, for fuck's sake, I just need to get home. Just need to get home. Fucking got home, and I sent Kelly a message, and she's like, hey, can you come and look after me? This is fucked. This sucks.
Yeah, right.
And then by the time that she'd gotten down there, I was fine again, which I was like, oh, cool, we can hang out again. Sick.
So the only other thing you have left now is a brand.
Yeah, no, I won't touch a brand with a 10-foot pole.
Really?
Yeah, because
out of everything, you won't touch a brand.
Not for the pain. Not for the pain side of it, because, you know, I've got fucking plenty of fucking scars being a mechanic and all that sort of shit. In fact, there is a scar somewhere on one of my arms where in high school someone grabbed a fucking magnifying glass and fucking burnt me, and like held my arm there for as long as possible. It was fucking stupid, but you know, you do that sort of shit in high school. But yeah, because you can't actually control how far the brand goes, because once you've put heat into your skin, that heat will just keep traveling down the layers and layers. So you might get a really cool, you know, picture.
It's a Russian roulette. You might just waste your time and burn yourself really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, if you, like, because that's the thing is, like, if you fucking brand yourself with a hot iron, it's like, cool. Yeah, that's damaged the first layer of skin, but then that heat will travel and damage the next layer and the next layer, and all of a sudden and the level of infection that you can get from it is fucking insane as well.
Surely there's a surgical way to do a brand now these days.
I mean, there's...
Maybe with a laser tat removal.
Yeah, well, I've seen plenty of that with, like you see the TikToks of like the laser cleaning where they get a bit of fucking rusty metal and just... Yeah. I've seen dudes put their arm underneath that with a fucking, with a cool fucking like a...
That would work?
Yeah. There was a dude with a fucking AK-47 on the fucking forearm and he's just...
That's pretty dope.
He was just holding it there and of course he's fucking shifted at one point, so as it's doing the second pass, it looks like one of those old school 3D pictures.
Yeah.
With the blue and red glasses. Yeah.
That's kind of
so it's
sick.
like kind of layered and I'm like, it looks really cool, but once again, how deep is that burn going?
And once you commit to that, you have to fucking stay there because that machine's not asking you if you're all right. It's going to finish the job.
It's like, if you can pull away, good on you, but now you've got a half-assed fucking brand on you.
There's this vocalist from Slaughter to Prevail. Alex Terrible.
Yeah, Alex Terrible.
He's got a fucking gnarly facial scarification.
Yeah, fucking... Once again, I fucking love body mods. Like, even if...
I actually like that on here. Like, it looks like he's been attacked by a knife, but it suits him.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things of, like, I've always, said, all right, I'll get another scarification done, and the one that keeps popping through the brain is just the stereotypical bad guy scar.
You have to do that. That's the one, really, isn't it?
If you're going to get a facial scarification, that's what you go for.
You have to get the fucking across the eye.
Yeah.
Or even just like
down the
one
eye.
there and one there.
Yeah, one across. Yeah.
That's what you'd have to do.
Stereotypical anime protagonist.
I think that's what Alex has. I think he has one here and then he has one across his face like that. But his are like
pretty wide, yeah.
His are gnarly.
Yeah.
Like, and his healed perfectly.
Yeah. You can, like, once again, if you really look after that sort of stuff, and
different skin types too.
100%. Like, if you really look into it and go, okay, cool, like, what am I getting myself into? What's the healing process? All that sort of shit, and really communicate with the body modder who's doing it. Fucking, you can get some really, really good fucking outcomes from it. Like, have some really fucking stunning looking stuff. I wish that with mine I'd gone for an ink rub as well. So
it stands out a bit more.
Yeah, so like once they've finished with the full skin peel, they just get tattoo ink and squirt it in and rub the ink in and let that sort of like soak up a bit. A couple of my friends who've got scarifications have got purple ink through back of the arm ones and stuff like that, and they look really fucking cool.
Does it turn out like a tattoo, or is it more just highlighting the scar?
No, it looks like it really just looks like someone's dumped ink into an open wound.
That's sick.
It looks fucking killer. But yeah, it was just one of those things where, like, I didn't make that choice beforehand. I should have. But, I'll do it again.
Fucking hell, you might be the strangest unit I've ever had on the podcast.
I take pride in that.
Yeah, and I've had some fucking strange people on this podcast. I won't keep you too long because it is a school night, but...
I've only got work tomorrow, it's fine.
If people do want some work from you, where can they hit you?
So currently, I don't have a business page up yet. I'm going through all the rigmarole of getting an ABN, fucking all that sort of shit. They can find me on Facebook under Chad Huxtable, or you can find me on Instagram under Astaroth Ulfhednar.
I think I just added you before you got here. I will be tagging you in everything anyway.
Cool. But the business name that I will eventually be going under is Ferox Funera Forge.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's fucking been a pleasure to fucking be here, man.
It is, and thank you for that. That is probably the coolest thing anyone's brought to the podcast so far, and I've been lucky enough to get some cool shit. I actually think it's cooler that those hooks were in your back than the actual axe.
I thought you would appreciate that. when I was looking at doing it, and I was like, oh fucking yeah, I could make some fucking your blacksmith scrolls or something like that, and just put that in it. I was like, no, I think he'll appreciate
the hooks.
Yeah, I'll do the hooks for him.
Always appreciate that. The hooks. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
No worries.
Thank you for the axe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Too easy. Cheers.